So welcome to the show. Today I have Giselle Mascarenhas-Villarreal from the beautiful US, and she is a branding specialist from the Institute, the Bold Institute. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today, Giselle. Welcome.
Annie, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So how about you tell the listeners, what does that mean? What is the Bold Institute? What do you do as a branding specialist?
Yeah, so I am a personal branding coach. And what that means is that I love to focus on the person who has been in business for a while. They've had success. They understand business. They just haven't adopted social media yet. And usually they haven't adopted social media for a few reasons. One, it may be too overwhelming to them. It's just like, that's something that I just don't want to focus on right now. It's just a lot. And so that might be the reason. And that, or the reason they didn't adopt it early on, right? And now it's just gotten to be so many apps and so many different things. It's just overwhelming.
Yep.
Or the other reason is they actually fear the judgment that they feel comes with being on social media. That's a very strong fear that people in the generation that I love to teach, which happens to be, they usually are 50 years old plus. Our generation grew up in a time that everything had to be perfect, like that when you did advertising, it was production, and everything was just perfect. So that's not what we live in anymore. And so when I get in front of them and I explain to them that it's a form of communication, the same resistance that people had to a cell phone, but then they learned it and now they need it to grow their business, is kind of the same thing that social media is. It's just another form of communication. It's a very powerful tool. Just like in anything else, it can be misused, but that's everything in life, right? So what I do is I teach people, I extract their magic and I teach them how to share it on social media to build influence and to build community.
Oh, I love building influence and building community. That's what we're all about.
Yes.
But you've tapped into something there because, that's my demographic. I'm 52 now and it's the same thing. It's like, I know I need to do social, but how much social, different ways on different platforms, how many platforms to use.
Yeah.
And that feeling of overwhelm, it's like, oh my gosh, there's just so much. And what I want to do well, because we've got that default of perfection. And so how you virtually have to teach people how to smack that perfection out of them and go for, where is their demographic and how do you reach those people in a new way? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely true. I mean, when we start to dive into, like, if I were to sit here and ask you, Annie, like, what is your intention on what you do? You're going to tell me with passion and conviction about what you do, why you do it, and who you want to serve.
Yeah.
And then I say, share that, because those people who need to hear it, they're just waiting to know that you exist. That's it. Like, just share from there. Perfection is death now. When you're trying to lead to be perfect, you're now leading way too far for people to feel like they can grab your hand and be taken to lead, like for you to lead them. Nobody wants anybody leading them from so far ahead that they can't ever see themselves getting there.
Exactly. So, they want it done with them, don't they? They want you to do that journey.
Tell me how.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. So that's a big thing because we've traditionally gone and approached our businesses in what we have to offer, what we have to share, what we can do for you, as opposed to social's all about trying to get people connect. Where are you? And are you resonating with what I have to give? And then let's have a conversation about that. Is that how you approach it?
Well, on social media, people have a very short attention span. So you have to lead with the value that they're going to experience. So anybody who leads with social media as look at me, look at what I've done, look at the list of accolades, no one will be listening. But they won't. But if you lead with, I want to share everything I've learned in my 30 years in business. I want to give you the tools. I want to give you the framework. I want to give you the roadmap. People are all ears. Like, oh, okay. So tell me how. And then there's so much opportunity to drip there. There's so many opportunity to just take one little thing that to be a tip, that if they just took that one thing, it would they would move a step forward into accomplishing or solving the problem that you serve, right? Solving the problem that you're a solution for. And so there's just so many beautiful ways to do that where there's not an overwhelm. Your stuff. There's no overwhelm. That's the beautiful thing. Just lead from there, and you could be talking all day long. You could get on there and you could talk all day long. It's the fear that I love. When that aha moment happens, when that little light bulb goes off, that they realize, wow, I have the whole world at my fingertips. Like, what do I want to do with this?
Yeah.
And magic happens.
It's power, isn't it? It's incredibly
a lot of power.
powerful.
And it takes time. It really does. It takes time. But I would really challenge people to take a moment and think about where they want their business to be in 2 years, and know that whatever that visualization, whatever popped into their head, if they were to invest the time in sharing their talents and their magic on social media, that those 2 years will happen and they will have what they desire. They will create the business that they do desire. Because remember, if we take money for a service or a business or whatever, you need eyeballs to know that you exist so that they can buy from you.
Yeah.
Correct? Well, then you've got to build the community. You've got to build those people who need what you serve. But it takes time.
It does take time. And so let's talk about time then, because many people would be like me of going, oh my gosh, how much time does it take? How many hours a day should I be on my Insta or Facebook or LinkedIn? And then I want to be doing my business and I've already got clients and I need to be sharing with those clients. And, many of us are mums as well. And we have very busy lives. So how does that time factor happen? That's a huge part of the worry about it. Once you start something, how do I maintain that, and what is required?
Absolutely. What I love about that question is that what is the overwhelming part is all the apps that you listed, right? So once you listed all those apps, you're like, oh my God, just even 5 minutes on each one of those apps. And then what am I going to post? And all these questions start to happen. What you need is just a strategic plan. And I've developed something that's really amazing called, it's how to build a 10-day campaign. The beautiful thing about that is that it touches all social medias. It comes from a story. It comes from you sharing one thing that your business does, or a tip or an experience you had or a testimonial from your perspective, right?
Yeah.
You take them on a journey. So you're either going to entertain or educate. So you're going to take them from point A to B, from B to C, or you're going to solve a problem. So you're going to start with the problem and then you're going to end with the solution. And in between that, you're telling them how your business does that, right? So any of those things, you start with a story. From that story, then you extract the intention of that story. So let's say me, for that campaign, for even sharing with you that course that I have.
Yes.
Well, the intention is relief. I want you to feel ecstatic about an opportunity that just takes one day to take about an hour and a half to create the components of this 10-day campaign.
Yeah.
And then for you to schedule in the calendar the 10 days that you're going to post, which I might add, you can actually post 20, 25 pieces of content from this one story.
Yeah.
From this one story. Okay. So then you take the intention and you go to Canva. Do you know what canva.com is?
Of course. I love Canva.
Obsessed with it. Yes. Everybody can be a graphic designer.
Everybody can work out Canva. It's so fantastic. Well done to the lady who created that.
I love her. Is it a her? I did not know who it was.
Yes.
Oh my God. Obsessed with you. So canva.com, create 2 ads. One with the intention, the other one with one of the quotes. Pick a quote from your story.
Yeah.
Those 2 things, then do a video. Just recite the story. So you don't even have to just turn the camera around, make sure there's a good lighting, sit in front of a window, stare at the window, the lighting.
Yes.
Not the other way around, because then you're really dark.
Yeah.
So, and then recite the story. So those 4 components, those 4 things are going to give you 10 to 15 pieces of content with the different combinations on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram story, on Facebook story, on TikTok, all of it. All of it.
Brilliant. And I've already tapped into that because I did click on your lead magnet, and I got a few lead magnets sent to me, and so valuable straight away. So what you're actually telling me is true. It was really easy to connect with you. Suddenly getting that tool, being able to then open it up and go, oh yeah, I could make that happen. What it showed to me is just it made me feel that it was more simple than it is. I think sometimes we think it's more complex. I'm going to have to think of all these things to share, and then that can drain all your time and energy just thinking about it, let alone the doing. And I think the way you've shared it, people in my program, we're all about trying to become concise and tone it down to what is it. How do we engage that simplicity so we can focus on that? And I think that's what you've just done. You've just shown that if you've got a point, you do it in a couple of ways and you really hone in on that. Because as you said before, that's right, people want to just focus on one little point. They don't want to be overwhelmed by what is this person trying to share? What are they trying to say? And often that's really devastating for you as the person doing it, because you've put all this passion trying to get everything into one post. And then someone goes, I don't actually know. What did you want me to do with that?
Annie, exactly. I mean, clarity is kind. Clarity is kind. Don't make me work to figure out what you want to do for me.
Yeah.
You make me work for it, then I'm confused and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But you tell me exactly what I'm going to experience and how I can make that happen for myself. I'm all over it. Like, I'm making the phone call. I'm clicking the button. I'm DMing you. I'm doing all the things that you just asked me to do.
It should be so quick and easy, and just a nice little stepping stone. And that's what it felt. And I know you call yourself a recovering publicist, so to become a personal branding specialist. And I really love that, because I can feel that you're used to, obviously in your background, which we'll start tapping into, of knowing how people operate and what the systems and processes are to get from A to B to C. And I think that's so important, that what you've done in your business and you're modeling for others is just showing those simple steps that people can get value straight away. They'll get instant value. Here's a little cheat sheet. Here's some points to get you started. And then once we resonate in that way, oh, by the way, I do have a one-day course, which is so much better. I need to learn from that, because I've got a 12-month program. It's so bite-sized, and it's so easy to then step up to that next level. And I think those building blocks are so important. It is overwhelming to suddenly have it all mapped out and go, right, you're going to do that. And I notice in your bio, you often sort of talk about, spending some sectioning time, maybe, time per month or whatever, to actually do certain tasks. That actually was really interesting, instead of every day having this pressure. How does that look?
So I believe that one day you should just create, because to create and then do the actual work to post and what time, and all of a sudden you will do nothing, because, guess what kicks in? Overwhelm, because you are busy, because you are building a business, you are managing people, you are, a mother and a wife and a community leader, and like all the things. And that's what makes you so amazing. But at the same time, that's what makes you so amazing. But yet you have to continue growing your business and growing your community to continue to grow your influence.
Exactly.
Right? So you can touch the people who need you. So you've got to create a strategy. And I believe, out of all the years that I have been doing this and all the years that I built brands for people. So I want everybody to understand that I did this for people, and I understand how much work it is. And all I would ask myself every day, besides waking up and asking myself, where is people's attention? The second thing I would ask myself is, how am I going to simplify this so that I can be as effective as possible for my client?
Yes.
But also have a life, because I can't be like my whole life can't be revolved around my clients. So I literally learned that when you block off a time, and you already know that that's the time, you turn everything off and it's time to create, you will end up with a method. My method is, I have my playlist, which I would love to share with you guys because it's really good. So I have my playlist. I start to play it. I go grab my coffee, and then it's a little ritual of mine. It takes me about 10 minutes to get into the mood.
Yeah.
And then I start to create, everything goes off, the music, everything goes off. I start to write. So I'll write my article. Remember, you know this stuff, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody wants perfection. They want genuine. They want authenticity, and they want the damn tips. Excuse my language. They want the tips. Like, give me what is going to give me an immediate win. Yeah, like,
the quick
okay.
fix.
Yeah, you don't need to set it up. Just
you are
tell
their
me.
coffee.
Yes. So I write, I go onto Canva, and then I do the video. I really don't have to recite it at this point, but when I teach it and they recite it, they feel very confident, because video, there's a real thing about video phobia, but people need to feel you.
Yeah.
They need to see you. They need to see your energy, because not everybody's going to relate to my energy. Believe it or not, like, it's sometimes too much.
Yeah.
You think?
I have that same problem. So we're fine.
Okay. We get each other, but sometimes we're too much for people. So, and that's okay, because there's somebody who does what I do and that they will resonate with, and we want that for them, you know? So anyway, I create, then on that same day, I create my calendar. So I know Monday, LinkedIn, Tuesday, Twitter. And it's just, remember, it's from that same material. It's a different combination depending on where I'm going to post. Sometimes it's just a quote that I had already extracted, or it's the long form content, because I want people who are interested, which is usually LinkedIn, and I will do it on Facebook, and I will do the video on LinkedIn. They have, I don't know if you know IGTV, some people are getting into it, but it's super powerful because you can create a series, so you can create your own show.
Yeah.
So from that same material, there's just a lot you can do. So I schedule out, but the calendar, like the calendar's there, everything. I am all about giving it all to you. I have prompts. I have, so if you're not a writer, you will be. It's all there. And then you post. The beautiful thing is when you have all of it structured and scheduled like that, it takes you 10 minutes to post a day.
Amazing.
I want to say that again. 10 minutes. One day, every 10, 15 days, you take 2 hours so that you're just calmly do it. And then every day, 10 minutes. I mean, you can commit to that. And then you're going to love it, and you're going to do more than that. And you're going to love it, and you're going to get it. You're going to get the feedback. You're going to feel the love, and you're going to want to do more.
Of course. I love the simplicity. One other problem then, when you're saying you give away so much information, and I'm the same, I give away so much free stuff. And so what about, there's so many people who, that's right, you can scan, so many people get all their free downloads. How do you get the next level up, that connection piece of, but by the way, I also offer services, because we're here for business, right? So we all have our passion. We all want to help people get to their next level and to, be really happy and successful. But then we also have to give away a lot of free information, free stuff, feeding our feeds every day. How do you manage that?
The thing is that I truly believe that if there is something that I have that resonates and changes your life, and you don't need to hire me, I'm okay with that. I want to serve you. What happens is that 1% of people who download my stuff, even if they use it for a little bit, sometimes they need the coaching part. There's something really powerful about a course, even if it's evergreen, even if it's a course that I'm not doing live, but you feel my energy, you feel the how I'm pouring into you, that I really want your success. I do it very slowly, step by step, so that for somebody who's just starting out, understands it, and for somebody who has been on social media for a long time, but they haven't built, there's a difference, but haven't built influence and community. Being on social media and reading it like a newspaper is not building a business. And that's okay. You can do that. That's beautiful. At least you know how to get around. But now let's use it and build something for you. Yeah. So what happens is when people are ready, Annie, they're like, I'm calling Giselle, because they already experienced that I gave them an immediate win. Here it is. Do something with it and never call me. That is exciting if it helps you. Yeah. But do something with it and you still have questions, or you need that accountability, or you want more,
then
call
reach out.
me. That's what I'm
Yeah.
there for. So I
Yeah.
believe there isn't enough I can give you if I can. So if I'm sharing, I'm going to share. If you need to have a question, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to do it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
I
exactly
don't know.
right. And often people go, oh, thanks for that. No, I'm good. And then a few months later, that's why it's important that you've got that constant presence, because a few months later, they're going, yeah, I thought I would do it. I didn't do it. I now need to reach out
I need
and
you.
get that help. I do need you, and that's exactly right. And that's the wonderful thing that I love doing too, that you don't have to sell. You don't have to be selling this pitch all the time. You actually just have to be in your presence, do what you do. And then people, I've had people call out to me this week of, how do I actually tap into that? What's the next step for me? And it's not a sale. It's actually, I just want more of what you're giving, which is beautiful, isn't it? And that's what we want. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
So let's unpack a little bit then, Giselle. You're an amazing machine of a woman, just making everything look simple and effective, and you're very good at what you do, obviously. So how did that journey happen? What's been the journey for you, and what were your main learnings through that?
Wow. Well, the journey was not wanting to depend on anybody. Had a really difficult first marriage. So, I just didn't want to depend on anybody. So I was like, what am I good at? So those questions started, right? What am I good at? And I was really good at connecting people. I was really good at people call me a pusher, and it's not in a bad way. It's just like I push people outside their comfort zones so that they can do more and be more. Didn't realize that it would turn into what it's turned into, but owning a nightclub before I finally got divorced for my first marriage, I owned a nightclub, and I was just really good. I was young, but I was really good at understanding what people needed to feel good, to escape a little bit from reality, to be able to, and then I'm really good at, I want your success in whatever it is. So at that moment it was, gets outside of my reality and give me an amazing experience. And I did that because I knew that that's what they needed. So I'm good at reading the room. I'm good at understanding what people need and connecting that and making that happen. So that evolution, when I left with $30 in my pocket.
Oh my gosh.
From being very well off. I left with $30 in my pocket because I just needed to go.
Yeah.
And what I realized was what I was capable of, because, you doubt yourself when you're like, but we have money, but am I really doing something amazing? Because there's money, you don't know. So I realized how good I was at understanding what people needed. And so that evolution is where I got into PR. I was really good at traditional PR, which was like getting people noticed, getting them on shows, getting, all the traditional stuff. It was just really like you didn't have a life, and it was sometimes dark. It was sometimes like you were walking on, and I don't like that. Like I don't lie, and I stay the straight and narrow. And it was just something where you just like, I found myself a lot of times just keeping quiet. Like, how am I in this room? Like, how is this happening right now?
Oh, that's a weird place. Yeah.
So I was like, social media happened, and I could see the potential of helping small business, which is where my passion is.
Yeah.
That person that just has all the will and desire, just doesn't know what to do. So yeah. And so that's kind of where it started building a lot of brands for lawyers and doctors and dentists. And it was restaurants, and just had a blast doing it. And then realized one day, Annie, that there wasn't enough I could do. And it was getting really hard to take those checks because I didn't feel like I was doing enough, because there wasn't enough hours in the day to do what I felt they needed to do, and realized that they needed to do it themselves. I needed to build it in-house for them, and they needed to do it themselves, because I wasn't going to be with them 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly. You can't clone yourself.
You can't. And that was a pivot that took me from making several $100,000 a year to starting all over again. But I needed to do it because I was living in my truth. I had decided a long time ago and it was a pivot that needed to be made. And that's where the Institute came up. And it's been a journey, but I love it. I love it with every ounce of my being, because to give people the power in their hands, for them to be able to see like, oh, that's how nobody can take that from them. And once they build influence, there isn't a COVID out there. There isn't a shift in the in government. There isn't anything that can take your influence from you. And when people trust you, Annie, they're going to follow you.
100%. 100%.
They're going to follow you. And so that's the journey. I absolutely, and it's not difficult. It's just a commitment. It's not difficult, but it is a commitment to learn, to go through the learning curve.
Yes, it's a commitment to be bold and to be brave, to go, oh my gosh, I'm sacrificing. I'm deliberately, I'm intentionally going to have a new path, and back yourself. And all of these factors, I know for many of my listeners, you know, when they look at successful women and successful people, they're like going, oh, it must have all been easy. But, you know, they've got to realize we're quaking in our boots while we're making these decisions. You know, this is big stuff. This is actually going, I know I'm good at this. I know I have amazing capacity and it gets me excited, but there's risk. There's real risk of giving up that job, you know, steering yourself into different, you know, setting up a company, you know, investing big time, you know, risk of failure, and a risk of people going, are you mental? You know,
and that's when you lean in. When people think you're crazy, Annie, you go, yes, I'm doing something right.
I think I am a little bit crazy, but I'm loving the ride. You know, and so it is a massive journey and risk, but look how happy you are. You know, you can hear in your energy when you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to do this every day. You know, I do get to share, you know, allow other people to have that opportunity just to shine and to grow and to be successful. And I think we're both in that space, and it is a real joy and it's a privilege, you know.
It really is.
So what do you think have been the biggest challenges in that journey? So, you know, you've suddenly gone from $30 in the pocket to, hey, I'm a woman of potential. I want to make sure that I could set up this institute and help people do that. What have been your biggest challenges?
Annie, my biggest challenge is getting in front of the people who need me the most and them realizing that they can do it. Like it's like convincing them your magic is enough. You are enough. Convincing people that they're enough. But it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever heard that saying where like when you feel a calling and it's like a pressure in your chest, that it's because you have there's thousands of people that are calling out for what you have that they need. They just don't know you exist. And that's the pressure that I feel in my chest. There are so many people in our generation and older that need this. They need to know that they matter, that their wisdom on social media is something that is needed, first of all. Second, that they can build limitless. It doesn't matter how old they are. It doesn't matter if they feel like they're starting it doesn't matter. We're all literally.
That's right. Social has no age. It's like you're just a person there doing your thing.
It also it doesn't matter what's in your bank account. It's your will. It's your will, your desire, your it's all on you.
And I think you tapped into that before, you know, that authenticity, you know, and when you said people want genuine, you know, and so true. It's something that I've steered away from a little bit in my earlier career of people going, they don't want to know you. You're they want to know what the company does and this and that. And now this whole shift of, you know, now people put their photos on, you know, resumes, for example, that was totally out 20 years ago. It's like, you know, so that personal branding, that authentic, that energy, that, you know, well, what are you doing and why? You know, everything about your why is so important now, and people are wanting to connect with that more and more and more, not just your product, because there's a zillion products, right? You know, and that can be overwhelming for the customer going, well, I don't know. That's right. I don't know where to find what I need, you know. And I think you also tapped into their visibility, you know, for anyone in business that, you know, it's becoming visible. You know, you've got this great product, you know, there are people out there who would really, really benefit. And then how do you actually become visible in front of them? And that's that whole world of social, which is what you're doing. It is the way, it is the link, whether we like it or not.
That's exactly right.
The link.
Because you're there. I don't care who's listening to this. They're there. They're on social media in one way or another. If it's just reading it, watching their grandkids, you know, whatever it is, they're there and they're spending time there. You know, you tapped on something about the why. I'm reading this book that I would love for everybody who's listening that finds any of this interesting, to read. It's called Start with Why. Start with why. And he says something that's really profound. He says, people don't buy your what. They don't care. They buy into your why.
Yeah.
They buy into the feeling. Like you tap into that part of the brain that doesn't really have, anything other than it's just the feeling.
Yeah.
So if it feels good and it's it's resonating with them, they're going to buy, but not the what. Not the resume, not the accolades, that's not why people are going to buy.
No, because they can go to a supermarket for that. That's a product. That's I need a product and I can get it, and I don't care about the whole story behind it. But a lot of things, particularly in the world of coaching, mentoring, business development, you can see the difference of people who've done a journey and they have that why. They have that, they have, like, you've got that energy of, I've been in another place and I was good at my job. That's not disputed, but I actually saw that I was so much better placed in this other area, and then now I can give out to so much, because then comes the passion. What you've got is you've got fuel behind it. That's what I see. You've got fuel in that magic. You're just like, oh yeah, you can do it. You've got that energy that doesn't stop, as opposed to something else that you're selling for the sake of it. It doesn't have that same energy. So what do your clients say back to you then? So when people have these magic moments, which I'm all about, and they come to some of your programs, how do they describe that feeling of becoming themselves, becoming more successful of what they do?
A lot of the things that they say is, first of all, a lot of people, they'll start with, God, I love your energy. And that really gets them through the door. But I think it has everything to do with that I'm really passionate about the success that's waiting for them.
Yeah.
I know, like, I'm invested in their success. And the other thing is, when they've gone through the program, or they've gone through the coaching, or even the first session, when I do sessions there, it's hope. They feel hope, because the crazy thing is that it might sound so trivial, like just the word social media, but it is literally such a limitless opportunity. And when they realize that, they feel hope in accomplishing things that they only were dreaming about, because they didn't realize. They always thought, I'm going to need a lot of money. I'm going to need a lot of money so that I can put it, so I can invest and get this and get that. And I won't be ready until social media doesn't care what your equipment looks like. Social media doesn't care. It doesn't care. It just wants you. It wants to know you. And it's also the perfect place to repel what doesn't serve you. If you see it that way, like I do, I love block and delete. I'm okay with you not being liking me. Then don't be in my home. My profile and what I post, that's my home.
Yeah.
And I welcome everyone. But there are rules. You're going to be respectful in my home. You're going to provide something of value in my home. Like, you're not going to be there to criticize, especially anybody that is invited to my home.
Exactly.
But people don't know that. They think they have to be okay with that, or that's going to be part of what they're going, the challenge. There's no challenge there. You just block and delete. There's no challenge.
Yeah.
None. You curate your community and you be proud of that. It's your home.
Exactly. And I think that's an important lesson to tell ourselves as coaches, and definitely those that we work with. That's right. You have the power to make these decisions, and to be bold and protect your space. We work hard to create those environments that are thrive environments, that they encourage other people to take that next step up and to own their truth. And so that's right. A major part of that is actually removing the distractors, removing the clutter, removing things that do not serve you and your community. And I think that is so important. So thank you very much. So what do you think success looks like at this stage of your life? What does success mean to you?
Truly, success means that I can pick up the phone and travel anywhere I want around the world and take my entire little family with me. So, that's success. That's a point I am determined to get to, which means I'm serving a lot of people, which means I have of that. So I have a vision in my head where it's me, working in Greece, working out of Greece, but I'm doing what I'm doing right now, talking to Annie, but I'm in Greece. And then all of a sudden, a couple of months later, I'm in Italy, but I am talking to Annie. It's like nothing changes about who I'm serving and how I'm serving them and what I'm pouring into them. But it means that if I am doing that and that's my vision, that means that I have so much that I'm creating a ton of opportunity for people, because I have this dream to be able to invest in startovers, not startups, startovers. The people that I serve, that generation, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. But sometimes they've been working their whole life as a teacher and have these dreams. They've had these dreams and don't know how, but they're brilliant. They don't know how to go about it. So if I can be that conduit between their dream and making it happen, if it's money, if it's guidance, if whatever it is, I want to be that person. But that takes quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
I will get there. That is what success looks like to me.
Yeah. Which is great, because I know it means different things to different people. And so that's right. For you at this stage of your life, it's that being able to do what you're wanting to do, but also in the environment, the flexibility to have that balance. And I'm all about that balance and being able to get that fit, because that's right, why we are entrepreneurs. That's why we are doing our own thing in this space, to actually have that flexibility. And often you can go, you left one area to then go to another area, and then you can then get entrenched and miss out on that joy. So I think that is absolutely wonderful. So,
yeah.
Terrific. And so what's next for Giselle? How do you keep building and growing? And
well, I'm just getting started, Annie. I'm just getting started. So, I hope to be on many stages, and only so that I can reach the people that need to hear this message, thank you for allowing this to happen. Because if I can reach a few people and they hear that they can do it and that they are worthy of doing it, and they decide to do it with or without me, that changes their life. It really does change their life. And so I want to do that. And that's what I'm working towards. Have courses, and be able to share where it's simple for people to be able to wrap their head around to do it. Cause it's not complicated. It just takes time.
It just takes time.
Yeah.
And takes a commitment to do.
Takes commitment. Yeah.
So let's leave our listeners with some tips then. So you're a young younger woman out in the world, and thinking, okay, well, I've really got to, or an older woman actually has been resisting, more likely, possibly, who sort of says, okay, I know for myself to build my personal brand, to be able to step up. I know I've been fearing using social. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I have the ability. What's your, biggest tips? What does that woman do who's listening to this?
I want them to remember that if they concentrate on these 4 C's, and you can't remove any one of them, you have to do them. You have to do all 4, and there isn't anything that can stop you from reaching the success that you desire on social media, building the influence, right? That you desire. One is courage. It's going to take the courage to actually just do it. So if you don't have the courage, but you're doing the other ones and that means you're not being authentic. That means you're grabbing things that don't resonate on who you are, but you're like, okay, fine, I'm just going to post. But nobody's going to feel that because it's not authentic. So you need to have the courage to be vulnerable and to be authentic and to share the value that your core customer is going to experience. So how do you do that? The next C is content. So when you're going to create engaging content, your post, just concentrate on them falling on one of these 3 points of engagement. One is entertaining. If it entertained you and it moved your soul, if it evoked some type of emotion, if it's funny, if it made you think, then post it. Be genuine, be authentic, and post it. Okay? Second thing is educational. If you can teach someone something, if you know that if there's one person, what's the intent to reach one person, and you know that there's a person out there that needs to hear this message, that's exactly what it's a good post. It's educational. Or be the solution to a problem that a community, a tribe, a certain generation, a certain type of person, be a solution to a problem that someone has. even if it's one person, because there's many people.
Yes.
But if you can, there's one, there's
once you
a whole
find
bunch.
that one person, they have many friends.
Right. So that's the second
Exactly.
C. The third C is community. You've got to build your community. How do you build your community on social media? You've got to pour into people.
Yeah.
You can't post and then expect them to come like that. No, it does not happen that way. How it happens is that you post fresh content, right? You have the courage to be authentic. Then you posted fresh content and you do it consistently, which is the fourth C. We'll get to that. But you post, which means you have fresh content. And the third thing is community. So when you're out there reaching out to prospecting, so I have a free download that I think that you got.
Yes.
Okay. And it's how to build your Instagram community. This works on all platforms, FYI. Just things shift a little bit depending on the platform, but I got real specific on Instagram. So you prospect by the 30-30 method. You pick 30 people that you want to build relationships with, either to collaborate with, either because they have a large network of your core demographic, or they're a customer that you want.
Yeah.
Whatever that reason, you want to build a relationship with them. You're going to go every day and see if they've posted something. And if they have, you're going to like it. You're going to comment authentically, which means you're going to read the content. You're going to look at the picture that they posted, and you're going to authentically and hopefully an open-ended question of some sort, or just be genuinely engaged so that they can see it, respond, hopefully, or at least notice that you're there. You're going to do that every single day for 30 days. And you're going to go to their stories to see if they have any. And you're going to, because they see everybody who sees their stories.
Yes, of course.
So you're going to go to their stories and you're going to do that. That's the 30-30 method. That's prospecting. Then there's the gratitude. That's another aspect of building community. It's the gratitude spree, which means this is really powerful, because everybody who comes to your post, you're going to give love and gratitude to. How are you going to do that? All the likes that you get, you're going to click. It could be one. It doesn't matter. You should be grateful for that one. Or it could be 2,000. You need to be grateful for those 2,000. You're going to click on there, and you're going to go to each one of their posts. Everybody who liked your post or commented, you're going to go to their post and you're going to like. Not comment. It gets a little out of hand. It's hard. But if you're really serious, which I've had a client who went from, in 6 months, 0, didn't even know how to download Instagram, to 3,500. And she's my donkey friends. Go and check her out. She's amazing. She's 53 years old. You don't see her because she is very, very shy, but she loves her animals, but didn't know Instagram, and has over 1,000 likes on each one. But she does everything I taught her. Wow. Every day. And she has a book. She has people wanting for her to write a book, like to collaborate on a book because of her pets. She has endorsement. It's amazing. And that happened quickly. But she did, because of, this is the other thing I love about this generation. They do, once they get it, they're
exactly. Okay. They do everything you say.
They're going to do it all. And that's what I want. I want their success. So that's how you show love, gratitude, and there's other things. And you can absolutely download. So I don't know if they'll have a link or they'll be able to go download that free product, but that would be amazing for them to grow their community, Annie. Yeah. But then the fourth C is consistency. You have to decide, commit to what you're going to do. If it's just every Monday, then every Monday it is. But be consistent and do it every Monday. If you decide 3 times a week, then do it 3 times a week. If you decide you're going to do it once a day, then do it. Just whatever is comfortable with you, just do it. And grow from there. Don't go, I'm going to do 3 posts a day and then this was awful, I'm just going to do it on Monday. It doesn't work that way. Start somewhere where you're comfortable, be consistent, and grow from there. And that's powerful, and you'll see a big difference.
Oh, brilliant tips. Thank you so much. I think that's given our listeners so much to work with. And that's right. It makes it, it's formulaic. But what I'm hearing too is the essence of it is relationships. It's like if you meet someone at a party, that's right. You'll do a little meet and greet, and then you have bigger conversations, and you like each other's things, and you build that relationship. It's all relationship building. So it does sound very formulaic, but it's also actually human. It's very, it's real. It's sort of like going, that's right. Don't meet me once and give me your whole sales pitch. I actually don't feel comfortable with that. I don't like it. I didn't ask you to come into my family and hit me with with something that I don't even know if I'm interested in yet. It's about stepping into that space and going, oh, I'm so glad you're here. What are you interested in? I'd love to like that too. And let me know a little bit more about you. You can follow my stuff. And then that's right. You can find me. It's like if you met someone and they do happen to be at the local bar on a Monday night at 5:00. Well, that's when you post. That's when you go. It's that same mirroring, and I do that with my podcast. This podcast, I posted on LinkedIn on a Monday morning. And so people know that my podcast comes out on a Monday. And so when you have people who are interested in that, they'll then go, oh, that's what she does. That's where she is, right?
You become a resource,
and
Annie.
then you're a resource and so forth. So I just resonate with so much that you've shared, and I can definitely learn a lot myself, and I know my listeners will. So for the listeners watching this podcast, I think I will be posting all of Giselle's tips, and also her links to how you'll find her. She's all over Insta and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and TikTok. She's the queen. She's all over it. And so if you do need help, and if you need to reach out, her website is www.boldinstitute.com, and definitely go and check her out and download some free resources. She will definitely get you on your way to becoming social and really stepping up to that next level of building your own personal brand and being able to give the gift that is you to other people. That's what it's all about, so yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This was beautiful. Enjoyed it.
It's been a delight. So I look forward to doing more with you. And
you can have me back anytime you want.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.